For the last 20 years or so now, I've dedicated my career to studying breast cancer disparities, and now we do see that African American women are at risk for having some of these inherently more aggressive patterns of cancer, such as the triple negative breast cancer that you mentioned. And triple negative breast cancers are defined as being triple negative because they are negative where they lack specific proteins such as the estrogen receptor, the progesterone receptor, and the HER2/neu marker. Cancers that are negative for those three markers tend to be more challenging to treat. We can treat them, and early detection is critical at achieving cures for these cancers, but they are more difficult to treat, and they are twice as common in African American women compared to white American women.
Do we know why that exists? I mean, do we know why African American women are at higher risk of developing this, or is it an access problem again that we face in so many other areas of medicine?
Well, access and socioeconomic disadvantages, lack of insurance, poverty, these are issues that threaten the outcome from any health risk, whether it's breast cancer, hypertension, diabetes, colon cancer. And so these are issues that put the African American community at a higher likelihood, greater disadvantages from outcome from those diseases across the board. But for breast cancer, we do have this added issue of African American women being at greater risk for these biologically more challenging patterns of disease. I personally believe that some of it is related to the genetics of African ancestry. And so much of my research has focused on looking not only at the breast cancers of African American women, but at the breast cancers of women that have shared ancestry with African American women, such as women from Western Sub-Saharan Africa, where we have shared ancestry because of the transatlantic slave trade from several centuries ago. And this is why my international breast cancer program involves looking at the breast cancer burden of Ghana, which is located in Western Sub-Saharan Africa. And in Ghana, we actually see that the majority, more than half of the breast cancers are triple negative. So we think that
more than half of the total types of breast cancers total is triple negative.
Exactly.
What's the percentage here in the United States?
Overall, for white American women and for European women, triple negative breast cancer accounts for about 15% of all breast cancers that are diagnosed. They account for twice as many, about 30%, in African American women and more than 50% in Western Sub-Saharan African women. So it indeed seems that extent of African ancestry is somehow related to the likelihood of getting these more challenging patterns of disease.
You can get more information about the show and our guests at primarycare-tv.com and continue the conversation on Facebook and Twitter.